Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. A man by the name of Gil-seok worked as chairman's right-hand man. Chairman O gave Gil-seok the responsibility of managing an industrial area in the city of Gangneung. Gil-seok paid his senior Min-seok a visit one day. Min-seok was a gambler and one of three devoted henchmen's chairman. The markets and Gangneung's surrounding suburbs were ruled by the new saying. It went to the bachelor party of one of his gang members who was getting married that day after visiting Min-seok Gilly. One of their gang members was caught by the police with drugs in his possession. But the man was finally freed without being punished because of Gil-seok's power and influence. Gil-seok met his released gang member, who turned out to be a member of his friend Chung-soo, who was also one of Chairman O's right-hand men and was in charge of managing casinos and nightclubs in Gangneung City. After that, Gil-seok, Min-seok and Chung-soo met together to warn Chung-soo about letting his gang use and sell drugs. Gil-seok has repeatedly brought up their previous agreement with Chung-soo. Chairman O showed up to talk about the drug problem in their gangs and unexpectedly stated that there should be no drugs in the world in the middle of their heated discussion. After that, he reprimanded the three of them and asked Nu to always take care of his two younger siblings, stating that he did. He also requested that guilty act stop assigning blame to Chung-soo because he ought to assist Chung-soo by offering solutions. Considering Chung-soo was a man with a bad temper. Next, we'll learn more about Min-seok, another main character. He was both a lonely shark and the one who had to get rid of the bad things that his boss had done. Min-seok was devising a strategy to depose his boss because he had had enough of being a servant who was always expected to follow orders. Min-seok met his boss at the headquarters of his gang a while later. Minnesota began bargaining with his superior for a better pay package and a more senior position. However, his boss completely ignored his request. As a result, he minced up and decided to kill his boss later. When they arrived at the location, the men's crime scene was the focus of the police investigation. A young man was located by the police, and he became the murder suspect. Because that young man owed Min-seok a lot of money, Min-seok made him responsible for killing his boss. Chairman Ove called Gil-seok one day to discuss the territory under his control. Chairman O stated that Gil-seok was qualified to oversee his resort. Gil-seok, on the other hand, questioned Chairman O's decision. He argued that the resort area is not part of his territory at all. Rather, it is part of his territory. After hearing Chairman say that he has more faith in Gil-seok's determination than Chung-soo, Gil-seok has no choice but to accept the trust and power that have been given to him. Min-seok visited Gil-seok, UK a few days later as he began organizing the resort that had been assigned to him. Min-seok was a sociopath who liked to cause trouble, and Gil-seok knew that. As a result, when Min-seok mentioned the drug distribution agreement in the resort area, Gil-seok strongly rejected it because he was against drug sales in his territory. After the rejection, Gil-seok appears taken aback by Minneapolis's behavior as he left. The following day, Gil-seok went to the wedding party of one of their employees. He also went to the party, but he made a scene before the party started. He claimed that he was unable to accept Chairman O's decision to delegate resort management to Chung-soo and attempted to calm him down by stating that Chung-soo did not want to run the resort alone. Final result. Chung-soo apologized for disrupting the party and acknowledged Gil-seok's point. To summarize, later that evening I went to see you and heard that he had tried to get Min-seok to protest Chairman O's decision to give Gil-seok control of the resort. However, Min-seok appeared to have little interest in the resort. He stated that he supported and was content to live as the market area's ruler. Every decision owes to the chairman. In a hotel room, Min-seok was seeing a woman by the name of Sun. She seemed to owe them a lot of money, Min-seok told her. He had only met her because of her debt all this time. Additionally, each time they were together Sun only paid the interest on the loan, not the principal. The unsung would do anything for the sake of men because she didn't know what else to do to pay off her debt. After that, Min-seok took her to Chairman O's house, where Chairman O inquired about the Min-seok's motives. In response, Min-seok stated that he was only making a brief appearance before continuing his journey to a nearby village. Then, realizing that he might need Chairman O's assistance, he offered to assist him. Then, they wondered, how is it justifiable to kill other people? Because a lot of wealthy people can kill other people at any time by hiring a hitman to do it for them and not have to do anything themselves. Chairman O gave a casual response to the question, claiming that one need not actually kill to achieve their objectives. All that is required is gaining the public's trust. Out of the blue, mints of Chairman O's assault stabbed the elderly man multiple times. Chairman O. Min-seok once more held another individual accountable for the stabbing. He also made Unsun the victim this time. Who would be the murder suspect so that she could settle her debt? Gil-seok rushed to the hospital to check on Chairman O after hearing the news, but Chairman O's life could not be saved. Gil-seok was aware that Chairman had been injured with the intention of killing him. He therefore went to the police station to meet Ian's son and determine the perpetrator of the crime. But Blunt's son didn't say anything and behaved very cold, which made Jill even more enraged. At the wake of the chairman. After Chairman O's funeral was over, everyone in the gang gathered to pay their last respects. Chelsea, Gil-seok and Nu-sang argued about what they should do to get revenge. Chairman is aware. They have actually learned that the woman arrested for the murder of men by Chairman O, Ian's son, stole a lot of money. As a result, they came to the conclusion that Min-seok was the one who killed Chairman O in order to exact revenge on Min-seok Chum. Seep. You also state that you have decided to work with the police chief. Min-seok would be held in a trap and charged with drug trafficking. When Min-seok men were dealing drugs, the police would spy on them and then arrest them. Min-seok was observed at the same time sitting calmly in his office, as though he was already aware of the plan for his arrest and there was a subsequent police and Min-seok's man chase. However, after the men in men's socks were apprehended by the police, they discovered that the bags they were carrying only contained coffee and tea. Men were already aware of what those people would do to him. As a result, he was extremely cautious. Chung, Seep, and Nu-sang were informed at their headquarters that the police had failed to apprehend Minnesota, so they decided to invade and kill Minnesota on their own. To avenge Chairman's death, Chongshi invited the best Musong to accompany him, only to discover that Yu-sang, who had always been quiet and kind and made the decision to cheat him. After that, Musong directed all of his subordinates to attack Chelsea. Men ups. While Gillette was enjoying his dinner somewhere else, the already dead Chongshi suddenly called him up. Since he had always been a problem for the guilty throughout, Chengshi offered an apology to the guilty. Mu sang in UK. Then they approached Chung Seeb and killed him. When Gil-seok's phone line was cut, he panicked because he hadn't heard what Chung Seeb wanted to say. Mustang's men appeared all of a sudden and were prepared to fight Gil-seok UK. Gil-seok was, thankfully, with his bodyguard at the time. Gil-seok and his bodyguard were both injured by Musong's gang. Gil-seok, on the other hand, was still able to fight back and survive. However, the sound of police sirens caused the Musong's men to leave the area before he could eliminate all of them. Mensch met the police chief 3 months later in front of the police station. Hyung, Bang, Chill. Bang Yun then praised Mint Milk for killing the gang mafia members successfully. He asked for a bang. How he swayed me, Min-seok. You sang in his brother's name. Min-seok then responded casually, stating that all he had done was inquire about Musong's thoughts on the resort Gil-seok runs. Gil-seok vanished and isolated himself in a city far from Gangneung following Musong's betrayal. After his wounds had healed, Gil-seok went back to Gangneung. Be that as it may, the current at real fault for isn't the old at fault for. He is now a ruthless killer, who is prepared to murder anyone. Following his visit to Chairman O's and Chung Seeb's graves, Gil-seok went to the police headquarters to meet Bang Hyun. Giles devised a plan to kill Minnesota after meeting Bang Hyun. However, Minnesota's innocence in the case of murder prompted Bang Hyun to question his strategy. Gil-seok, on the other hand, ignored his explanation. He had made up his mind and stated that he could no longer rely on the police for allowing Min-seok to freely carry out his plan. In Gangneung, Seek met one of the resort's largest shareholders, President. Because he was aware that President Shin also held a grudge against Gil-seok, he begged President Shin to assist him in killing Minnesota. It is revealed that President Shin was also the boss of the boss who had been betrayed and killed by Minneapolis previously. However, President Shin was unwilling to take the chance because Min-seok owned a significant stake in the gay businesses. Finally, Jillian offered President Shin the shares he owned now. President Shin couldn't possibly turn down the tempting offer because, by owning Gilson shares, he would become the city's largest shareholder. Gil-seok met Mew one night, sang to him, and he inquired as to why he had abandoned their brotherhood. After that, Musong admitted that he had done it out of greed. He believed he was never compensated adequately for his work. Giles received a grand resort, whereas he received only a small territory. After that, Gilt emphasized that he never felt as though he owned the resort. Muson was then asked to apologize to Gil-seok. But Musong didn't think his actions were wrong. Musong had to die at Gil-seok's hands in the end. Finally, Min-seok was apprehended on suspicion of selling drugs and manipulating others into killing themselves. Min-seok denied the allegations and stated that the police lacked sufficient evidence to make an arrest. He was nevertheless detained by the police. President Shin, on the other hand, gave his men the order to kill Min-seok and Gil-seok. He looked like he wanted to be the only one in charge of the luxury resort, but he had no idea that several mafia members were following him from behind. These mafia members ultimately killed President Shin. Actually, Gil-seok had already discovered that the manipulative President Shin, who planned to kill him and would betray him. Therefore, he had already given his men the order to kill the men assigned to kill President Shin. Gil-seok stopped the police car that was carrying Min-seok around the same time. And for this reason, Bang and Hien arrested Min-seok to keep Gil-seok from committing a crime that could land him in jail and killing Min-seok. Suddenly Min-seok prepares to fight by crawling out of the car and lighting a cigarette. Before dealing with Gil-seok, Gil-seok should get up one more time. He must first deal with the servants of Gil-seok. Gil-seok, watching from a distance, observed each individual. His servants perished. Min-seok was knocked to the ground after Min-seok, already overwhelmed, walked over to Gil-seok and began attacking him. Min-seok said that he and Gil-seok were the same while he was dying. Both of them killed Min-seok by stabbing him multiple times during a siege. After Vincent's passing, Bang Hien approached Guilty UK and inquired about his feelings of guilt for killing so many people. Gil-seok responded by stating that he had already passed away when his brothers passed away. At the story's conclusion, Gil-seok returns to his resort on her own to take in the stunning sunrise. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.